You can still see me, right?
Okay, we're live.
Okay.
We're live on Facebook. All righty, all righty. Yes, yes. I'm so excited. I'm so excited today. Why am I so excited today? Because it's Thursday. It's thought provoking Thursday.
Whoop, whoop.
I can't believe it. My husband says, "Is this today where you have your provoking Thursday?" And I was like, "Provoking Thursday?"
You gotta have thought in there.
Well, I was like, well, then again, I hope to provoke people to love and that they'll encourage, We usually put provoke with something negative, like, ooh, you're going to provoke them? I said, well, I probably will provoke a few people too. That's the way life goes. My goodness. Wow. Well,
I had to take my glasses off. I'm sorry.
okay. I, I, I definitely need mine for sure. I can't even leave home without it, as they say. Goodness. Well, I wanted a few people to come on in, so I'm not sure if I need to. Yeah, if I need to share the link. I'm not sure how this goes. Okay, it says three people, so someone is watching. Can't tell who it is, but that's cool. Cool beans. Cool beans. Wow. So, all right. We should wait, a couple of minutes here to maybe let some other people come on in. This is our second thought-provoking Thursday, and um, there was some good response the last time that I had it, and I think it's a good thing. I don't think I want to do it every Thursday after each podcast, but some of the ones that are pretty thought-provoking, I think, would be good. Would be good to do. So, righty, let's see. Wonder do I share the link? That is okay. I think I do, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Show it. I message from the screen. No, okay. I'm not really sure. Yes, I knew. I wish I knew.
Mhm.
Are you able to go on your phone or
I
maybe?
am.
Oh, you are on the phone. Okay, because I'm wondering if I try another gadget.
Hold on 1 second. I didn't even think about this. I should have put it on. Oh, hold on 1 second.
See
Put it. I
if I,
should have pulled up the questions on the
okay,
computer.
okay, yes. All right, yes. No, okay. Yes, good morning, Yolanda. Okay, Yolanda has joined us. Beans. All right, all right. Let's see. All right, so I do see it. So, it's 5:10, and I like to be consistent, and I know people will view this, after it has shown. So, I would like to get started with Sherry.
Terry,
What do you think? What you doing there?
I am opening up that document.
Oh, okay. It wasn't open already, huh?
It's open on the computer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could get it on my phone.
Okay. Well, if not, is the computer okay? You can just flip screens.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not coming up on my phone, so it's okay.
Uh-huh.
It's all good in the hood.
Oh, good in the neighborhood, girl. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome, awesome. All right. If you're here with us, if you don't mind sharing the link on your feed so that others will join in, and enjoy our thought-provoking Thursday with us this morning. It is Thursday, September the 10th, 2020, and it's 10:06 a.m. And I want to say hello and good morning to everybody, because it's early in the morning. Yeah,
Good morning, folks.
yes, good morning, good morning.
Can you mute that one, please? Only because it's different. I'm sorry. Or just turn it down.
And this is Karen Penn with Empowering Christian Women. And I'm here today, this morning, with, that's really loud in the background there. Here this morning with co-host Sherry. Sherry, how you doing today?
I am wonderful. How are you? So great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. You're looking good, girl.
Yeah, so do you.
Yeah, it's all right. When you look good, you usually feel pretty good, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're here this morning as a follow-up to yesterday's podcast about dating when you're 40 plus. And so I have here on the screen a thermometer because we're going to be talking about the temperature. What's the temperature of Christian dating when you're 40 plus? So I hope you had a chance to listen to the podcast where our guests, David and Ariane, spoke firsthand about their dating experiences and shared their views on the temperature of the Christian dating scene. So, what is the temperature of the Christian dating scene when you're 40 plus? According to our guests, the temperature seemed pretty cold. And I have a -10 below 0 degree here, temperature thermometer to show that. So the temperature is cold and the pickings get slimmer and slimmer as the years go by, it seems. And more significantly than the temperature is the question why it's so cold with so many millions of singles in the world today that desire to be married. Like, what is it? You know, people desire it, and there's gazillions of people. Like, what's the problem? I can't see what the problem is.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know, like, what's really happening? So now, if you are single and you're good, you know, you're not looking to be married. Like Apostle Paul says in Philippians 4:11, I've learned to be content. Is that okay? Is everything okay? I learned to be content in whatever state I'm in. So, you know, that speaks volumes in itself. But it really seems puzzling and strange that there's like a new app every 6 months or every year on the internet, on every internet corner, and we can communicate around the world 24/7, and yet there are millions of singles who desire to be married. They're hardworking moms, they're widows, they're divorced, you know, and they're ready, and some are ready to remarry. So what is the disconnect? It makes you scratch your head like, wow.
If I could interject.
Oh, sure, go right ahead.
Well, I think that for 40 plus women and men, if they've gone through a harrowing relationship or marriage, that kind of gets them a little gun shy in terms of, you know, putting even their toe back in the water to think about dating again. And the operative word is Christian, because
It really is.
thing about it is that everybody that says that they're a Christian may not be, or they may not display the characteristics of what a Christian is, you know, and especially when it comes to affairs of the heart. It just, you know, sometimes it's like, well, I don't want to be hot and bothered because, you know, he's looking buff, you know, so it's like, okay, Lord, help me out, you know, or the guy's like, oh, she's snatched. Okay, so let's just, you know, help me, Lord, calm me down, you know, because as we know, men are visually stimulated and women are emotionally stimulated.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the word fear. Now, Christians, as soon as we hear that word, we should remember a scripture.
Yep, absolutely.
God doesn't give us
the spirit of fear, the power, love, and a sound mind.
So despite the pain that we may have experienced, the reason to not go forward shouldn't be fear, because then that will, you won't. Because fear will just, you know, it's false evidence appearing real.
That's right.
But yet, so the years start going by when you're 40 plus, and it's nothing's happening. And so you're at a stalemate. You know, there's a lot of frustration there. There's unmet needs and desires. Now, I came across a scripture in Isaiah 30, verse 1, that says, woe to the stubborn, determined children and families who carry out plans that are not mine. Now, when you say here, see woe in the scripture, are we simply living in the woe? The woe of, you know, we're stubborn, we're determined, and we're not carrying out any of the plans that are God's? Are we suffering? Are we afflicted and have internal sadness because of our stubbornness? I don't know. I can hear a lot of religious people saying,
It's like, listen, you better renew that mind, girl. You better renew that mind.
That's it. Scripture's thrown at you in a blink, you know, a heartbeat. And you're like, but that doesn't take away the pain, you know.
It doesn't take away the desires either.
The desire is there, you know, and it's God given. So we're here today to encourage and empower. That's the focus of empowering Christian women, and more so needed in any place. Encouragement and empowerment is where there seems to be hopelessness.
Absolutely.
There's hopelessness, and we're going to talk a little bit further about the state of hopelessness, but we can't cover everything in our one little thought-provoking Thursday session, you know, but we can have some thought-provoking questions that hopefully make us sharper, enlightened, and aware of how we might be able to decrease, you know, going on and live our best lives, you know, and be our best self. We got to know who our best self is so we can be our best self and live our best lives with the help of Christ, of course.
Absolutely.
So, did you have anything to interject right now?
No, I don't. But I will say this, actually. I love the fact that you are empowering Christian women all over the world. Because one of the things that we find as Christian women is that we don't always have a safe space to be able to talk about anything and everything. you know, for fear of judgment, for fear of people like, oh, you're really going through that, huh? Oh, okay, I see. And then you get put on blast on the 11 o'clock news, you know, so that makes us not trust, that makes us retreat into ourselves and not want to share anything because we feel like we're the only one going through it. But if we're truthful, then we'll say, hey, you know what? There was a point in my life when I felt that way too. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's reason together. Let's look to the scripture together
Absolutely.
and find some answers to the problem, because God has all the problems, all the solutions to our problems. So why are we in a statistic of what we are, of so many people being single who want to be married?
Mhm.
You know, why are we there? So I wanted to pose the first thought-provoking question, if you will,
Okay.
and I'm going to put it on the screen. So the first thought-provoking question is, what is the biggest reason that Christian singles, 40 plus, are not finding lifetime mates? What is the biggest reason that Christian singles, 40 plus, are not finding lifetime mates? Now, I made this a multiple choice question. So we want to make stuff easy.
Choice is always a good thing.
Yeah. Let's get the juices flowing by putting up some answers here. So the first one is A. Okay, and then of course I forgot to type it. I can't believe I did that. Okay.
It's all right.
So let's see, can I do it here? I could have sworn I did. Oh, it's for my notes instead of for everyone to see. I'm learning. This is all new. It's all good. Good.
You're super intelligent anyway.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if you can see all of them. I think the screen will move. But the first one is A. Are they too finicky or fussy as the reason why single Christians that are 40 plus are not finding lifetime mates? Is it B, they're afraid of the possible heartbreak if it doesn't work, like you had mentioned? Broken, you don't want to go through that again. Is it C, they're self-centered because people are selfish today, and you talk about starting to share your life with somebody. That means a whole lot of things, you know. If you've been single a while, you're comfortable, you know. And so that could be a reason. Or is there just simply something else?
Mm-hmm.
Is there just simply something else? I'd like people to chime in who are watching and choose one of those responses to enter into the comments, or add something of your own so that we can engage in, you know, about this matter. Say hello to a couple of people. Deborah Anderson, Charmaine John, Tim Taylor. Good morning to you all. Thank you. And Yolanda, thank you for joining Empowering Christian Women. I posed a question. What is the biggest reason you think that Christian singles 40 plus are not finding lifetime mates? And I have multiple choice answers here. If you can see them, they're scrolling there, A, B, C, or D. And hey, Deborah, I'd like you to just chime in and share your thoughts. That's all. Just chime in and share your thoughts on that. Give you a couple of minutes to do that. I think that while people are doing that, I'd like Sherry to share some statistics about the lifestyles of singles in America over the past decade. So,
Absolutely.
Sherry, go right ahead and take control there.
Okay. So 4 years ago, an article was written in the Washington Post that gave statistics from the U.S. Census Bureau about unmarried Americans' lifestyles. And it started out by saying that never before in the U.S. history have so many adults been unmarried. Then it went on and gave 4 statistics about unmarried American lifestyles. Number 1, of all Americans who are not married, the biggest group is those who've never been married. Young adults are delaying marriage for many reasons, like the challenging job market, falling wages, and the growing debt. And others are forsaking it altogether. A report from the Pew Research Center estimates that by the time today's young adults reach their mid-40s to mid-50s, a remarkable 25% will have been single all their lives, and most will likely remain single. Number 2, unmarried Americans have become more highly educated. Number 3, the majority of unmarried Americans are not living with a partner or living alone, but are living with their parents or with various combinations of friends, roommates, or other relatives. And number 4, just over 40% of all women ages 15 to 44 who gave birth were unmarried.
Wow. So to me, in summary, our youth are delaying marriage, and some are even forsaking it altogether because it seems hopeless financially. Many unmarried Americans have become more highly educated, but have not learned how to communicate with the opposite sex on an intimate level with the intent of a committed relationship. And unmarried mothers are creating like makeshift cohabitating, staying with women that are also unmarried mothers, men staying with just friends or family members. So we're just kind of creating something else in place of what could be what God designed, if you will, because we're trying to get our needs met. There's also a big undercurrent of fear, especially with the young people. They're like, wait a minute, everything costs too much. How am I going to take care of a spouse? How are we going to make ends meet? There's real worry and fear there. So let's look at some of the comments that we might have, Sherry. Do you see any?
Yolanda says, I have no idea, but I think I remember them saying it in the podcast, which was hilarious. So,
yeah, too bad we couldn't have David and Ariane here to reiterate that. Yeah, they had some funny stuff going on.
Yeah.
In the podcast that as to their solution and their encounters, their experience firsthand, you know. Well, I have an answer. It's not one of those, but I have an answer.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sherry?
Well, I also have some advice that I wish, when I was, in the dating game, so to speak. Although I married pretty young, actually. So, and I've been married most of my adult life. But had I been single, the advice that I wish that someone would have been able to tell me, if you don't mind me sharing it right now.
No, go ahead.
Well, basically, once you meet somebody and you start dating, you should take 6 months to figure out, do you like them? So if you get past that point, then you should take another 6 months to figure out, do you love them? So that's getting deeper at that point.
Okay, 6 and 6 were.
Yep. So if you get past that point, then you should take another 6 months to figure out, can you see yourself spending the rest of your life with that person?
That's key.
Yeah. So if you can get past that point, then you should take another 6 months to plan your wedding.
Sure. And by then you have discovered how they are when they're angry, some of the ugly sides,
Yep.
And we all have that. We all have them. And by then you should know, like, okay, when they get mad, they're like this. Sometimes they're just being a baby and pouty and selfish, Can I work with that? Because marriage is work. People forget. We stay with the frilly of the wedding and the romance and the love. And then when it comes time to roll up your sleeves, people are peace out.
And you have to be mature enough to do the work, because this is supposed to be one and done, right? Hopefully it'll be one and done. But for those who, gotten divorced, unfortunately, you have to be able to mourn the loss of your marriage and then be able to move on. And sometimes it takes longer than, there's no, normally you can't put a time limit on it.
Right.
But you can, once you mourn, gotten it out of your system, and then you feel ready and confident enough to move on, because God is healing the wounds as you, continue to move forward. So once you feel that you're ready and you've prayed about it and said, okay, God, I'm ready to step back out, that's the advice that I would give.
That's good. That's good. That almost reminds me of the story of the lepers, where the Lord didn't lay hands on them and heal them. He told them to go. And as they went, they were healed. So it says, go forth, live your life and you'll be healed along it. Don't get stuck and stay in one place, in other words. That's what I thought about. I see that one of our guests from the podcast has joined the live. Hey, Ariane. She gave some insightful things on the podcast. So again, if you haven't heard it, please go over to www.ecwomen.org and check out the podcast on dating. I see we have our second guest that was with us, David. Hey, David. I see a longtime friend. I haven't seen Maya. Hi, Maya. How are you? So glad you joined. We are going to move on because the time is getting past us. But I have a second thought-provoking question. It's the final one, but it's the second one. And that is, what do you think singles need more than a mate? What do you think singles need more than a mate? Gonna put that up there. And I heard every religious Christian say Jesus.
Which is true. We all do.
We need Jesus. He gave some other things for me to have the desire of my heart. Oh, thank you, David. Hey, Maya. Yes, he gave us more. He says he will give you the desires of your heart. And honestly, a lot of older religious folk, they seem like they never had a desire to be with the opposite sex, and that you shouldn't either. You shouldn't need that either, because all you need is Jesus. Stop.
But can we get real?
I gotta turn my fan. Can I just say stop?
Stop the madness right now.
Stop. You
know you need more than that.
Hello. Stop making it seem like that. Hebrews 13:4 says marriage is honorable. The bed is undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. um, that lets me know that when we have unmet needs, we're going to mess up.
Yep.
Humans have the need to be loved, and the ultimate expression of that love is to be in a committed relationship, a marriage.
Mhm.
So, we want to do that, but when we can't get our needs met, we learn some other kind of time, and that's the truth be told.
Mhm.
And the church should not make it seem like, older people who maybe have been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, make it seem like y'all don't need that either. Young people do. Older people, if you've gone through something, you still looking for love. You don't want to look for it in all the wrong places.
Mhm. And in too many faces.
Yeah, God has a plan. He wants us to be fulfilled.
Mhm.
Proverbs 13:12 says, "A hope deferred makes the heart grow sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life."
Mhm.
So, so let's go back to our question. Unless you would you like to interject, Sherry? You have anything to share?
Um, well, and thinking about the question, singles, what singles need more than a mate? Yes, of course, God. But they also need the understanding of how to get back, quote unquote, in the game. We know it's not a game, but
Right,
um, because dating is very different when you're 40 plus than it is when you're in your late teens and your 20s and even 30s. It's
right,
very different,
right,
because especially if you've been married before and you find yourself single again, you
right.
know, you're a bit seasoned and you're going to approach things from a different angle. And, especially if you're single and you have children, it's like, listen, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. You got to accept me and mine or else. Keep it stepping.
That's true. That's a whole nother podcast right there.
Yes, it is.
Provoking Thursday, when you talk about the kids and you're 40 and you bring someone else into that circle.
Mhm.
That's a whole nother ballgame. I wanted to look at some of the comments here. I see Maya, she says, Faith, he says he will send a helpmate. Yes. And I've been waiting. It's been 18 years. Wow. I have to say wow on that, Maya.
Yeah.
Say
We
wow.
said it at the same time.
Mhm, mhm. That reminds me of the guy who was by the pool.
Hmm.
Says nobody will help me to go. Every time I try, someone goes in before me.
Hmm.
And feel like there's no help. Nobody seems to care.
Hmm.
Um, that's what made that came to mind and made me say, wow, wow, like my heart goes out,
Hmm.
you know. Thank you for sharing that, Maya. Okay, so I don't see any other comments about that. And yes, we need Jesus, but I wanted to share quickly my take, which is I think it's emotional healing.
Mm. Absolutely.
Emotional healing is what singles need more than a mate. And I'm not saying that married people don't, but we're talking about single people right now.
Hmm.
Um, I believe that emotional healing from the many destructive cycles and behaviors that keep us from being fully alive and present
Hmm.
is what we need before we're ready to engage in serious, meaningful relationships. And when you're 40 plus, you believe you've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt for the most part.
Hmm.
Um, but that doesn't mean that, and you have experienced a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that you haven't develop some destructive cycles and behaviors that keep you from being fully alive and present. And I don't think people are present a lot. Uh, I won't share some of the stories I've heard about uh, the dating kind of things that go on. I can't think of it right now, where you go around in circles. What is it called? Go around
Oh,
in
speed dating.
speed dating. Yeah, I've heard some horrific stories where people are just not present. There's a lot of emotional strangeness going on that people are not even aware that they need to be addressed. So I came up. Did you want to interject there, Sherry?
Um, what came to mind is basically you have to approach it from the standpoint of, and actually I see what Maya said. She had 4 relationships, but she picked them and not God. One of the things that we have to realize as women is, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So that takes the pressure off of us. We don't have to look. You want Boaz to find you,
Mm. Sure.
and in my last dating experience before I remarried, when I finally said, okay, what, God, I'm good. Let me just raise my kids. I'll be fine. But God had other plans. And he brought Boaz into my life.
Mm.
And this is year 29 for us.
Wow.
Through the good, the bad, the ugly, the whole line, I'm in there. And if you don't mind me telling your story, because I was in your wedding. Next month is 40 for you and your Boaz.
Yes. Woo-hoo. Like we still wonder how that will.
That's what they say God is good.
You still have stumps, But I think, and this podcast is not about being married, but I think sometimes married people need to share things with singles to help,
Mm-hmm.
When they're going through things. But we get to the place where there's less of the, okay, well, we can just get a divorce. We get to a place of, okay, we're not getting a divorce, even though we're in different parts of the house all day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We're going to try again. There's less and less of the intenseness as far as wanting to sever the ties. What do they say? You either fight or flight when you're in a situation that's totally uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So there's no more fighting. We're too old to fight.
Energy, girl.
Don't throw the glasses anymore,
Wow.
And now we are too old to flight. Like, there's sometimes health issues involved. Where you run into? Where you going?
Who you think's gonna take care of you when you end up having to go to the hospital? You better stay in there.
That's what happens, And there was a song in the world, Cheaper to Keep Her. Like,
yep.
Let's keep it simple, So you get to that place, but it took time to get to that place, time. And we don't allow time. We try to figure out how we're going to get out of this thing that is terrible, and we had some terrible times. Both of us were in the wrong, But anyways, this is not about us.
Nope.
And our time is going by. So I have 3 things that I think will help singles to get better prepared for Boaz. So you'll be ready when he shows up, because he's the one who's supposed to be looking. And so I'm going to put them up there. Number 1, okay, is, am I doing this right? I'm still learning this thing here.
It's all good.
out there in the neighborhood. Okay. Get my notes back here. Okay. The first one is identify your top 3 most unhealthy tendencies. Identify. Oh, did I do it wrong? Mhm. Okay, there it is. There it is. All right. Identify your top 3 unhealthy tendencies, meaning the ways that you use to protect yourself from feeling unloved, rejected, abandoned, and powerless. Because we develop, ways to protect ourselves that are unhealthy tendencies. And so we have a lot of them, but if you can identify the top 3, that's a start. That's a start. Okay, so dealing with your the emotional healing. Okay, the second one, let's get it on the screen. Here we go. It is connect with your emotions. Now connect with them, meaning reflect on the moment before you act it out and ask yourself, what was I feeling? What was really going on inside of me? Only you can ask that, and only you should be honest enough to answer the question. Was I scared as to why I did that? Was I angry? Was I sad? Was I betrayed? Was I disgusted? Was I jealous? Was I ashamed? Was I helpless? Was I guilty? Was I violated? Was I neglected? Was I disappointed? Was I bitter? Or was I feeling ugly? Like, why did I do that? Only you can answer that question. Okay, and the last one is number 3. Let go of the shame.
There it is.
Let go of the shame. Let go of it. Meaning realize that you had a healthy need, but it went unmet, and you did the best you could with the tools you had. And you need to let go of the embarrassment, the awkwardness, and ask God to forgive you and cleanse you, take it from you. I think if we follow that process, we could get healed from a lot of emotional things that cause behaviors that are destructive, that create destructive cycles, and keep us from being alive and present.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're not ready for a mate if we're not alive, thriving, and present, because we got emotional stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maya says she loves it. Awesome. Okay. Deborah said isolation. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Hey Mo, she's visiting us. Yes, all of those things we've got to face them. We need Jesus. Yes, we need Jesus. We need the blood and all of that. We should shout and praise and dance and give him the glory, and it will release some of the tension. But that doesn't mean you should not face some things that only you can face because it's in you. No one else can make you face them. And if you want to see change in your life, you should want to face some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, time out, I'm done. You were ready to face yourself. You did. Here comes the blessing unfold. Just the Lord's ready to release a blessing more than you can contain, he says. That's what he wants to do with us. Okay. It's time for us to sign off if you don't have anything else to share.
Well, let me just say one more thing that just came to mind. When we have to deal with us, it's hard because there are 2 schools of thought. Sometimes we are self-abasing and we say, oh, I'm not worthy, and no, I don't deserve happiness and all of that. But then the opposite can hold true. Like, listen, I am bomb diggity. I am, all that in a bag of chips and popcorn and a pickle. And both are coping mechanisms. They're not healthy, but they're both, coping mechanisms. So what we have to do is keep in mind, wherever you go, be well.
Hello.
People that change zip codes just because they're trying to run away from dealing with themselves. And you don't have to move. You don't have to move. What you do have to do is allow God to move in you. You really have to look in the mirror and say, okay, God, I'm a wreck, I'm done. I need you to help me in this area.
Yes, you do. In this area, you got to identify, and be present, because we can ignore a lot of things. Or like you said, we're over the top, like, I'm good, I'm all that in a bag of chips. Or I'm so unworthy, I don't deserve nobody. That's two ends of the scale. We got to find the happy medium.
Exactly.
Got to find the happy medium. God wants us to be in the middle, not thinking too highly of ourselves. And see you in a long time. Okay, well, I'm done. This is exciting. I'm glad you joined in today for
Thank you for having me.
Thursday.
Anytime.
You bless me, girl, every time we see each other.
Oh, thank you, girl. You always bless me.
Oh, that's so sweet, so sweet, so sweet. So listen, before I go, I want to pose a challenge to everyone. For the next 4 months, on the first Friday of the month, starting tomorrow, I want to ask you to accept the challenge to bow your head in prayer wherever you are at 10 a.m. so that we can bombard heaven on behalf of the men in our lives. Our fathers, our husbands, our brothers, sons, grandsons, great grand uncles, nephews, friends, neighbors, the men that are in our life. I want to bombard heaven the first Friday for the next 4 months of the year, just the next 4 months, first Friday, to pray, that we would pray in unison for the men in our lives. None of us want to see anything happen to the men in our lives. And so the women, we need to lift them up. We need to lift them up, and we need to lift them up in unison. So if you would like to be a part of this challenge, I want you to type in the comments, I'm in. Type I'm in the comments, and I or Sherry will send you a reminder about 15 minutes before, so 9:45, to remind you to pray at 10. So we'll be in unison. Wherever you are, bow your head. If you're at work or something, you can pray in your head. People don't know you're praying, Just lift up the men in our lives. I just felt led to ask everyone to do that at this time. Good. I see some people said they're in. That's awesome. And lastly, I want to invite everyone to visit Empowering Christian Women's website at ecwomen.org to listen to any of our podcasts and to join the Facebook group page where we share some more private things with women about women issues. We're about empowering and encouraging women to live their best life, being their best self. And we want to discover what that is through Christ, of course. And we want to encourage women who are not Christians to join together with us, because we have at the foot of the cross is common ground or level ground, because there's some issues we all go through as women, period, whether we profess Christ or not. So that's all that I have. Do you have anything else, Sherry?
No, I just want to say thank you for inviting me. I am so excited for everything that God has given you with Empowering Christian Women. I'm excited. And yeah, I'm all in too. I couldn't type in, I'm all in.
She couldn't type it in. That's all. She's all in. Well, Well, Sherry, I think we could raise the temperature here to be up to 90 today. How
Yep.
about cool beans?
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay,
Awesome.
awesome, everyone. Okay, yes. Okay, Maya. All right. Okay, God bless everyone.
God
Mwah.
bless you.
I see
Have a
you, my brother. All right.
wonderful day. Mwah. Love
All
you.
right. Love you. Okay. So long.